You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have success.
Good morning. My name is Joan Kessner, and as chair, I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation for Monday, May 19th, 2025. Before I do, I'd like to introduce my board. To my right is Connie Light, Eric Wright, our county executive, Mark Polenkars. We have Leslie Zemsky, Brian Whitman, and Sam Capitano, and our president, Mark Wendell. I also would like to thank Debbie Royce and her staff and Mark's staff for helping to put this meeting together. I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast. We welcome public comment on today's agenda, and I will note for the record that the public was given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by 5 o'clock on Friday, and I'd like to state for the record that no comments were received from the public concerning today's agenda. I will also note that we do not have any members of the public attending today's meeting. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Before we begin with the substance portion of the meeting, I'd like to ask the directors whether anyone has a potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the agenda items. If so, I would like to ask you to please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. We will then be sure that you recuse yourself from discussion or vote regarding such items. Anybody have any conflicts?
No.
Hearing none. Our first order of business is the approval of the meetings, the minutes of the directors' meeting on March 10, 2025. Approval of the minutes of the March 10, 2005 directors' meeting. Are there any questions, comments, or additions or deletions to those minutes? Hearing none. If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Well, Madam Chair, I should say, just simply these edit, page 8 in the prior term, the owner is commended, asked for an update on the construction on the railroad. So I think commended should be true. Commented.
We'll take
I don't think anybody would take what I said last time was commended.
All right.
So yeah, if you think I've commended, just say ask for an update.
Correct.
That's it.
Okay, we'll make that change.
Good at it.
Thank you, good eye. Always watching what you say, I'm not, that's great. That's great. Are there any questions, comments? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Now I'd like to call on Mark Wendell, ECHDC's president, to present the remaining items on today's agenda. Please start us off with a request for authorization for the corporation to adopt its 2025 procurement guidelines. Mark, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. The Empire State Development, our parent company, every year adopts procurement guidelines to make sure that they are up to date and make sure that they are up to the requirements that are set forth by the state. So at the March Empire State Development meeting, these procurement contracts or guidelines were adopted. And as a subsidiary of Empire State Development, we have to now adopt these as our procurement guidelines moving forward for 2025. So this is an annual kind of review revision. The only, I could say that, without going through, the only updates were there were some links and some formatting and section numbering that went through the guidelines. Nothing substantive was changed. So at this moment, I would recommend put forth to the board to adopt these as our effective procurement contracts following the Empire State Development's guidelines.
Thank you, Mark. Are there any questions or comments from the directors with regard to this item?
There's a lot of homework.
As noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public with regard to this item. Well, now we'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, second, and Sam. Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Next is the authorization for the corporation to adopt its property disposition guidelines. Mark, please go ahead.
Yes, as I mentioned for the previous item, Empire State Development, our parent company, reviews the property distribution guidelines yearly and then has them adopted every year at their March board meeting, just like we did this year. So these are the new or updated property disposition guidelines that were adopted this year. And March 27th, 2025. Again, nothing substantial was modified. There was, again, numbering, some reordering of some links and everything for the guidelines to be incorporated. So at this point, I will recommend and make the recommendation for the board to adopt these as the ECHDC property disposition guidelines.
Mark, are there any questions or comments from the directors with regard to this item? None. As noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public with regard to the item. I will now entertain a motion for approval.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Mark, please continue and present the final item on today's agenda. Request for authorization to enter into a contract with design services relating to Terminal B's safety improvements. Okay.
So Terminal B opened for us about a year ago, and we've been monitoring its status and see how things go. But during construction of Terminal B was the winter storm in 2022 that the stations were very large and it damaged the entire guardrail system behind Terminal B. We did not have the funding at that time to do any kind of improvements along the waterfront. So this contract, we put out an RFP for design contract to do some safety improvements, and that safety improvement is to install guardrail along the seawall, do repairs. There's about 15 to 18 feet of walking surface behind the Terminal B structure to the seawall. So we want to make that improvement for people to be able to access this. Right now, we have a fence that prevents people from getting to the water edge right now until we can get this safely fixed and make sure it's appropriate for them. So this design contract is going to look at a lot of options for how we can design a guardrail to withstand our future storms and also make it safe for the public to walk on the water, provide a safe walking surface behind Terminal B. And also, we're looking at improving some lighting aspects to there. Not only on the structure, but we just got done refinishing the parking lot and creating a new drive entrance to that parking lot. So we will be looking at and putting some permanent lighting into the parking lot to provide. Right now, we currently rent lighting for all our events that might go beyond the dusk time frame. So we're looking to make the paths and everything seem a little bit more, when the late hours come in, they're a little bit more visible for everybody that's walking along or parking or wants to experience the water's edge. So this is the design contract. That's the scope of work, I should say, we have in this. We received 2 proposals in this RFP, one from Azar Design Company for $351,000 and another one from Collier's Engineering and Design for $672,299. After a review by our selection committee, they reviewed both proposals and had an interview. Our committee is recommending that we move forward with Azar Design Company. They've been in the business since 1977. They are formerly Floyd Albert Associates, if you're familiar with that name. They just recently changed to Azar Design Company in 2024. They have done some work with ECACC before, and we're confident in their abilities to execute work. Again, we're looking to, as we go talk about scope of work, new lighting, improved lighting, walking surfaces along the park. They'll be going through and doing the scope of work with a series of design submission, schematic, DD, construction, all the way, and then they'll provide construction administrative services when we go out to bid, hopefully by the end of this year, early next year, so we can have this under construction in 2026. So the contract term and funding, as I mentioned, this contract will cover fees and expenses. The recommended total is $421,200. That includes their base fee submission of $351,000. And we're including a contingency of $70,200 for the contingency as delineated in their proposal that we received on March 10th, 2025. The project is slated to begin on June 2nd, 2025, and we expect their construction administration to follow through and be complete by July 2nd, 2027. Funding for this project is under the New York Power Authority Industrial Incentive Award. This contract will follow the non-discrimination contract supplier diversity requirements. There will be a MWB participation goal of 30% and SDVOB participation goal of 6%. The overall goal shall include a minority business enterprise participation goal of 15% and a women business enterprise participation goal of 15%. Azar Design has included Lenny Schweniger Lighting as a WBE, Toscano Clemens Taylor, who is a cost estimator as their WBE, and Patriot Design and Consulting is a certified SDVOB. I should also mention Azar Design is a certified MBE on their own as well. The director, under environmental review, there's been a determination of no significant effect on the environment for the Buffalo Outer Harbor Civic and Land Use Improvement Project. at their meeting of November 9, 2020. This determination, as this is design services, is covered under this contract. So at this time, the requested action is to make a determination of responsibility with respect to the proposed consultant, authorize the corporation to enter into a design contract with Azar Design Company for an amount not to exceed $421,200. Again, that includes their base fee of $351,000 and their contingency of $70,200.
Thank you, Mark. I'm very happy that we're implementing this project. Mark, and along with many of the board members, have been down there for a number of events, and these lights are really needed and a permanent structure because it's more than the concerts that we're having there. There's other events that are going down there, and we're booked solid for more than 20 concerts we may have this year. And also along, Lake Erie's Lake Erie. We're going to have to constantly repairing any damage it does with the ice and keep it safe because people like to get down to that waterfront. So I want to thank everybody for their hands-on personal observations to make that place even nicer than it is. And it is well loved already by our community. We're very, very happy. Thank you, Mark. And are there any questions or comments from the directors in regards to
I have a
this?
question. I'm a little confused on the dates because this goes to July 2nd, 27, but you said when do you plan to have this?
Constructed 2026 next year.
Right, so their contract goes through 2027 because they would be overseeing, where do we see a date, or do you need to have a date for when you actually want the study completed so that you can go to construction?
We are,
Bids.
it's right now where like for an internal calendar, we're looking to we have a flexibility we're going to meet with. That's one of the things we're going to establish with the design consultant.
Okay.
So we had a goal outline of the calendar of having this design done by I think January 2026. So we can be out to bid, and that way we can have everybody lined up when spring comes out to start doing the work, and hopefully by April 2026. But that's in the calendar. Our goal is to then have the construction completed, so we're ready, by end of June, that early July of 2027.
Okay, so what we're voting on here is for you to enter into a contract with them, and that's then when you have those kind of dates
Yes,
in there.
correct.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Good question. Yes, sir.
Are there any preliminary construction cost estimates for this work? Because this is just $351,000 plus contingency for design, just fine.
It is, we anticipate, we had some rough numbers for, especially because of the seawall construction and everything back there, of exceeding over, probably, somewhere between 1 and 1.5 million.
So not saying I'm concerned, but I know one of the things that has held up a lot of the work and dramatically increased the cost for Ruffles Junior Centennial Park is the seawall construction, because there was an underestimating of the actual amount of damage that had been caused. You can see it from the office. I mean, they built up that area tremendously. So I'm not certain if that will, part of this design will go in and actually do a complete, more fuller analysis of the seawall, because if the goal is to create a safer walking area and a guardrail for the seawall, sometimes you don't know what you get into until you start actually looking at the design and realizing what you thought was a $1.5 million project is $9.5 million. And that's what's driven up the cost at the park, is the issue with the problem with the seawall. Now, yeah.
That's a valid point. We do have some exploratory analysis in this design that we're hoping that, it's an update of what we had before we did the Terminal B project, where the seawall at that point before we had that storm was in good condition. And the piles and everything, because we did a full examination. That seawall, the tieback goes to the foundation of that warehouse, and those tiebacks are in good shape. So it's an update of that analysis, because like I said, the wall seems to be in good condition, held up. It's that metal part on top that got bent back before as the cap of the seawall. But this design contract does do a little bit more of analysis on that, an update from see what the storm is. We're just hoping that it's still in that good condition from our original ones, and we're really only doing a guardrail, safety walk, and the electric and the lighting system. But then when that work is done, we'll have to examine on the scope of work that's moving forward in the bid documents.
So this is the beginning of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you, Bill. It's noted earlier, we do not have any other questions before. Okay, Connie, I'm sorry.
I'm concerned about the difference in these two bids that came in. Whenever they're this far apart, usually somebody's too low and somebody's too high. So can you speak to that? And just, I need to be assured that there's going to be enough good engineering behind this.
Yes.
That this gets built right.
Yes. The committee had an interview with both teams and went through the scope of work, and the committee came out and Azar fully understood the scope of work and felt confident in the proposal that they put forward. I mean, there's a lot of questions that they could go to this team to make sure we have everything covered. I can tell you that I think sometimes, Colliers, I think their proposal might have included just a lot more consultants than was maybe needed that built up a proposal. But I can tell Azar Design, based on the committee's review and the interviews, they understood the scope of work. They have the consultant team assembled to do that scope of work, and they're very confident in their ability to be able to get this done. They have experience with seawall construction design on their team and do this kind of analysis. So we're confident that this contract will cover the scope of work that we needed examined.
I personally, I feel confident they've done plenty of work, especially as for the county. You're aware, I'm sure you're aware, these are designs, a lot of.
Yes.
And the reason it's called these are designs is following because so.
I compliment, when he made it, I actually reached out to Greg and I complimented it. It's a really nice nod to his father.
Yeah. So if you know Greg, who's worked on many projects locally, and the team at Point Out, confident they'd be able to do this project.
Absolutely.
Good, yeah, right. Any other questions, comments? All right, as noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public with regard to this item. I will now entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Connie? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. The motion carries. I want to thank everyone for your participation in today's meeting. Now there will be no further business. May I have a motion to adjourn this
Madam
meeting?
Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes, or any comments from the board at this time?
Thank you. I saw in the newspaper article regarding Heritage Point. I'm glad to see that they appear to have closed on their main financing. So what is the timing not only for that, but also has the work been completed on the building that was being constructed by Empire or Erie Canal Harbor Development? And also, what is the timeline for the beginning of construction of the Penrose?
Sure. So our building, we're looking at having occupancy, certificate of occupancy June 1st. We're working with the city of Buffalo inspectors. So that building is in the finishes stage. So there's a lot of painting and everything going on the inside. But now that the weather's break, when you drive by, they poured some concrete last week and they're trying to get the concrete sidewalks and everything for it. So that'll be open by June 1st. So everything should be cleaned up over on that side and opening the street to the full size. Heritage Point, yes, they're moving forward. They're getting they have their lenders lined up. They're moving forward with the loan doc, the closing of the loan and transferring the funding. And I believe they're looking to resume construction by end of June. It's the last schedule update I got. If I get any more updates, I will be happy to share them with you. Penrose is moving forward with their project. We're looking to have a closing with them late September so they can begin, or in October of this year, and they'll begin construction at that time. And I know you didn't ask, but also understanding that the Buff Marine Drive apartments are going to be closing and they will start construction in the parking lot of June of this year, June 2025. So we will, so we'll be thankfully open in June. We'll have some other projects starting construction in June, and then the North Hall block project will start in October this year.
The parking lot you're referring to
Is the Marine Drive
that's crossed.
on the other side of the Skyway. Yeah, that's where the project will start construction.
I feel very confident about Penrose's ability to do this project based on work they've done elsewhere as well as what you're seeing with the Perry project.
Yes, yeah, they've been a good developer to work with.
Penrose might get its portion done before here.
So,
All right.
If I may ask, does Penrose own the property? Or
wait, no,
like Sinatra owns
No, because there's a little bit of a different deal with that and the way that's working with, they're also working with another state housing community, you know? So that's, there's a little bit different development.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's gonna be a lot, because the bulldozers are gonna go from one area of the waterfront to another. It's gonna be, Sam's business. It's gonna be a wonderful, wonderful couple of years.
Hopefully that dozer clips one of the
And, yeah,
piers of the skyway and drops it.
I don't know,
That was us.
but I wanna say, and I've said this in 5 years, you're not gonna recognize this waterfront. It's just gonna be transformed totally, and thank you all here for your interest and love for a waterfront, and it's really exciting seeing. We're all being asked what's going on, they know things are going on, and people are really excited when they hear, you know, the interest that's happening there. So, yesterday there was no parking down there, so people are coming, build it, they come, and it's really a wonderful thing to be part of. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming. Are there any other questions, any other comments before we close? There'll be no further business. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you to everyone for your participation in today's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.